So this episode isn't gonna like dwell on this too much, but there was this guy we went to school with named Trey Phelps. Welcome back to Lego DC Supervillains, by the way. There's a guy we went to school with named Trey Phelps. He got involved with this woman named Hathar, whom we don't know how he met her
Mm-mm.
because she hadn't. I don't know if she dropped out or what, but
The
she.
world's a small place, man.
It's a big place for her.
Mm. 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 Mm.
But yes, it is a very relatively small place. Like the amount of people that I've met, like I've met two people at the dialysis clinic that I knew personally. That kind of surprising. Anyway, if
Who's the
you
second?
Alan and this lady that my mom is friends with named Dorothy.
No, okay.
I'll make fast work of this.
But yeah, if you go through Hayti, like there's a one of those what you call what you call them joints, bro?
Oh, the memoriam signs.
Yeah, it's on the road
Uh-huh.
between here and Hayti, and I
Uh-huh.
couldn't help but thinking like every time I saw it, it's like he didn't die on the highway.
Uh-huh. But there are three. There are three, and they're all people that we knew or went to school with.
Yeah, it's very
Because
weird.
Diz is there, Freddy's is there, and Ricky.
Oh, Ricky Bell, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got hit by that by that guy who had killed some people up in
You're
St. Louis,
still here?
and he
You
drove
actually
down
enjoy
here,
wasting your time?
and they thought that
Yeah,
like if
that's very not true.
I get the feeling death
that's
is
not what happened.
pursuing them. Stay alert.
No. What story are you hearing?
Probably
Oh man, Ricky Bell was a cop, right?
No.
What? Are you sure?
Yes, we went to school with Ricky.
I know we did. That didn't mean he wasn't a
He,
fucking cop.
he was 2 years ahead of us. Ricky died in freaking Afghanistan in a Black Hawk that got blown
to
down.
run into something like
Are
this.
you shitting my butt off? Really?
Like that was literally national news. Yeah.
That's wild. Okay, well, it might not have been that clearly it wasn't him, according to your bro. Anyway.
Oh, there is the one for that cop though.
Yes.
That one's like a big display.
Like they put a fucking they had put a what you call? They had put like the cop cars up as a blockade because the dude was like traveling down the highway, and they were under the impression that the blockade would stop him, and it fucking didn't.
Mm.
And he just ran into one of the cop cars, and he killed the cop in the car. I thought that was Ricky
Mm.
Bell.
No. This was only a few years ago, right?
Possibly.
Yeah, Ricky died, I think, our senior year of high school or the year after that.
That's wild. My dad never really truly believed me when I told him like I don't be knowing these people. And when I tell you I don't know a lot of the people I went to school with, I don't know them. Even if it's like, but they seem to know you. It's like, of course they do. I'm fat as shit. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
knows me. Like there's no one else in the building as big as I am, except for the vice principal. He was big.
He's a cool dude.
He was. He made a fat joke about me one time. I didn't know how to
He's alive.
I didn't know how to respond. I just accepted it. I was like,
Oh, that's funny. Do you remember what it was?
yes, I remember what it was. I think because this is back when we were still at the high school, obviously. And I think Gilmer,
Yeah, he was only there freshman year.
and so like I think what happened was like I was either late. I think I might have been late. I don't think Gilmer was like, "Where you been?" And this motherfucker said, "Coming up the sidewalk."
Oh!
Ah, see? What did I tell you? Traps.
Not as imaginative as the ones at my base, but you have to admire the...
You've been holding on to that since freshman.
My whole life, like I've never let that go. Like I remember it verbatim. Like it struck a nerve.
Oh my god.
You know how fucked up that is? Like that's like you might somebody might say,
He was
well,
supposed to be the vice principal.
and he
He's
was
supposed
a
to protect
big.
me.
The weirdest part about it was he was the fucking athletic director.
Yeah, yes he was. Yep. I'll never forget. There was one time there was a students versus teachers basketball game, and he played, and he actually fell, and the whole auditorium was just like, "Oh my god!" Because you know how there was the stage, and then it had all those doors where they would keep the chairs underneath the stage. Like he fell, and his back just hit one of those doors, and it just.
No.
Like, I don't think I could make a noise loud
He tried to trick us into acting irrationally.
Cannot remember his name
Quite
though.
what it seems with these guys, huh?
Ferguson.
And it took me a long time to fully learn that.
Was it?
Find a way to repair the bridge.
Yeah, I'm almost positive. Like I wouldn't put any money on it, but I'm almost positive.
I think it was because everybody called him Ferg, Big Ferg.
Big Ferg? Boy, that sounded like Aaron.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that was anybody, that was Aaron.
But yeah, he was only there for freshman year because the next year we got Wallace.
I gotta take your word for it. I don't fucking remember.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because we got Wallace and then Coach White became the. The guy who was principal with him, I remember this. He ended up leaving, and he went and became principal at it starts with an F.
Friedmont?
No, was it like Festus? No. Somewhere near St. Louis.
I'm about to say
And I remember
Festus.
that because
Festus is near St. Louis.
But proceed with caution.
yeah, I remember that because when I went to college, I met somebody from that town, and I was like, "Oh, hey, my principal like when he became," and then he goes, "Dang, what was his name? I don't remember his first name. His first name was Matt." And he was like, "Oh, this guy," and I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, we had the same principal." Because the world is small.
Yeah. You don't steer far from home, regardless of what they tell you.
Yeah. I'll never forget how shook I was the time I ran into friggin' Jake Van Osdale in the wild here. Like, could barely form words. I was just like, this is the person I thought I'd never see again.
I'm impressed with your
Did you think he was dead?
No. I just thought I'd never see him again. And then it turns out he and Ted were both living here.
Oh man, the amount of people we went to
Ted
school
had
with who
become like
probably
a doctor or something.
Did he? Like a doctor or something means that he's not really a doctor.
Yeah. I don't know, but I know he works in the medical field as like an X-ray person.
Oh, he's a tech.
And I'm just like, no, I don't think. I think he's like he does something else. But like part of me is just like, wow, that cancer diagnosis really like got him.
I mean, Nick said that's how come he decided to go into the medical field. Like after he got stabbed, he said it was the reason he decided to become a nurse.
Yeah. So let me tell you about the stupid things I've been doing at work lately.
Go for it, brother.
So many ninjas.
Because I'm sick of that place.
I needed to test your
And I know they won't fire me.
people would have just left.
I've just taken to doing ridiculous things.
I'm Batman.
We are yours.
Those things include answering the phone
You make an accent.
He does it all the time.
in different accents and languages.
Which ain't nothing
There's
new
a
for
guy.
you.
Located where Superman landed.
There's a guy
We are en route now.
who
Ensure your seat is in the upright position as we are
let me see if I can
preparing to land.
set up how. So say your room is the kitchen, right?
How do you figure that?
All right.
And my area, my server area, is like right outside the door, and like that door is like your door is actually a window, and so you can see directly into the kitchen.
Find your
Okay.
man of steel.
Okay.
Kalibak,
Now,
General
this
on your
guy
side, have
walks
need.
up to me.
I'm afraid I cannot allow
I'm
you
standing
to
in my area, right next to the window.
What have you
Walks
done,
up and
Superman?
says, "Y'all got food?"
prepare to be history.
And I just looked at him and I went, "No."
Fools have what it takes to defeat the mighty
And he looked
Kalibak.
around.
Have I mentioned how
Then
much I
turned
am
around and
enjoying
walked
being
away.
back on Earth?
Yeah, not the homecoming I was expecting either.
All right.
And I did not try to stop him because I was not standing for the idiocy that day.
It be like that sometimes.
Finish you off.
Sometimes it really is hard to find the energy
Making your
to be with the
eventual
fuckery.
all the more painful. You still
And
believe
it's just
you could
like you were literally in a room full of people eating. You looked into the kitchen before you looked at me, and then asked if we had food. And he did it seriously, which is why I was just like, nope.
You say so.
But I screw with people all the time because they come in and they ask if, so the name of my restaurant is Black Dynasty Ramen. But the full name is Black Dynasty Secret Ramen House because most people cannot find where we are located. And when they do find us, there's a singular neon sign in a window, and it's not that big, and it says Black Dynasty Secret Ramen House. And so they walk in and they're looking around, and then they'll come up to me, and they'll go, "Hey, is
Y'all got-
this
Y'all got food?
is this the ramen place?" And I go, "Oh
No.
yeah, Otaku." Because that's the name of the ramen
other-
place that is literally right in front of us. It's like across the street.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, Otaku?" And they're like, "No, I'm looking for," and I was like, "Oh, this is Otaku." And they're just like, "What?" There's a sign
Now for some payback.
right next to me that says Black Dynasty Ramen.
You realize that might be why they're surprised, right?
Still, okay, because they walk in. The second you walk in, there is a thing. I don't know what you call it. Like there's a sign that is standing right there at the door
Someone sure
when you walk in that says, "Welcome to Black Dynasty Ramen. This is how everything works." And so I've just taken to, hey, you know how you can tell when nobody read the sign? Because they walk in looking around. And so then I'll just go and like passive aggressively set the sign directly in front of the door. But for months, once a week,
Soon be over.
we would get this phone call.
No. Blast this useless piece of
And it was somebody, and they would call and they'd say, "Hello, do you speak Chinese?" And we'd just be like, "No."
Yeah.
And they go, "Okay, goodbye." For months, once a week, we got that phone call. And one day I was just like, F it. I don't speak Chinese. So she calls and she starts out with, hello, ni hao. And I respond, ni hao. And she goes, oh. And then she just starts talking. And I immediately regretted my decision.
Immediately.
And she's talking. Because I couldn't understand it. And
Yeah, you don't speak
like,
Chinese.
I do a little.
No, you
And
don't.
so I apologized. I was like, no, I'm sorry, I don't speak Chinese, but I said it in Chinese. And she goes, what? And then I repeated it, and she goes, but you speak Chinese right now? And I was like, no, I don't speak Chinese. And she goes, where are you from? And I said, Megwarin. And she goes, Megwarin? Because it means American. And she's like, what do you like Chinese? And I was like, online. And she was just like, oh, you speak so good. And I was like, yeah, but that's it. That's all I can do. I'm at the extent of my knowledge.
Thanks, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and
I think it's really sweet that she complimented you on the Chinese that you could speak.
Yes, dude, I was on cloud nine for the rest of the day. Because I am very self-conscious speaking other languages in front of people that speak those languages natively.
Yeah.
Like, I will not speak Spanish around any Latino person. Period.
No, they're very picky. Like they will
Yes,
like
they're
clown
very
you.
judgmental. So
Yeah.
I will not do it.
Which
Like when I'm at restaurants, because when you're around here, you will find restaurants where your server only speaks Spanish.
I find it funny though that like they're so judgmental about it. It's like you should hear you speak English. It's like it's bad. It's like Spanish people trying to speak English is never good.
Dude, I just watched a TikTok last night of somebody going around an international school and asking different students, what is the hardest word for you to pronounce in English? And she asked this dude who's like from Colombia or something, and she's like, what's the hardest word for you to pronounce in English? And he goes, Florida.
Florida?
It was like, what? And on the screen it said Fort Lauderdale.
Oh.
And she just looked at him and she's like, what? And he just laughed because that was the best she's gonna get.
I think the problem he has is he thinks it's one word.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I spoke to this lady, and she's like, "Oh, okay. Here's what you do." Because she's just speaking just as much English as I was friggin' Chinese. And she goes, "I teach you Chinese, you teach me English." And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "Download WeChat, and here is my friend code." And I'm like, "Oh, this is a deal."
Like, what the fuck is happening here? What is this?
She gave me her code, and I have one. Dude, problem is that WeChat, normally places have two-step identity verification. WeChat has 3. Now, I can get through the first 2, but for the third, you need to have somebody that already has WeChat freaking scan a code from your phone to confirm something. I don't know what. And I know literally nobody with WeChat because it is a Chinese app. WeChat is the biggest chat social media app. Well, no, Weibo is the biggest. But WeChat's like the biggest, second largest chatting app in no, Weibo's kind of like Twitter. Is Twitter a chat app?
It can be.
Okay, well then WeChat is the biggest solely chat app It's kind of like WhatsApp in China. And I don't know anybody that has it. And so that lady gave me her friend code for nothing, and now I'll never learn Chinese. But the funny thing is that after I did that, I got another call like the next day from a different person, and I did the same thing. And she was so confused. Because I kept telling her I don't speak Chinese in Chinese. She was just like, what? Eventually, I just had to say, okay, bye.
It's kind of like hitting motherfuckers with the no habla español.
Yes.
Like what?
Or it's that whole I don't speak enough English to explain that I don't speak.
Like it's like, oh, like so you speak English? No, just enough to explain that, to say that and explain this. Like it was, and this speech explaining it. Just enough, just that first part in this speech explaining it. You're serious? You're joking, right? Okay.
Like that's legit. What happened? And we got calls like 3 days in a row, and they were all different people speaking Chinese, to the point where I was just like, "Oh, I made a mistake." Like it has gone through the freaking Chinese underground that somebody here can speak, and so they're all calling.
Ain't that about a whole bitch? That's great. Well, that's the end of the episode. Oh, no, it's not. Hold on. Go ahead.
No. Well, I mean, I have other things about stupid stuff at work. If you want to keep going, I can go. But we can move to the next one.
No, we can keep going, but we can keep going to the next episode. You know what I mean?
No, let's just keep going. Let's just go ahead and end it. We're starting to now. This one's not Chinese, so
okay. Bye. Get out.